Welcome. How's your day?
Landon. I've never done this before, so excuse me if I'm a little awkward, but yeah, I'm happy to be here.
All right. Well, Mr. Landon, how did you get here? What drove you to say this is God and I worship you?
There's no specific answer to that. It's hard to answer that. I mean, there is plenty that I've gone through that God brought me out of, and
What's your childhood like? What did you grow up in?
well, I grew up in a very broken home. I grew up with my mother and father, and they both used substance, of course, drank a lot, and my mother was schizophrenic, and actually, my father was schizoaffective. I don't really know the difference, but they were both mentally ill, and it was just. I mean, it wasn't. They weren't well in the right place. I grew up with my two older brothers there, and my older brother uh, ended up having to provide for us through selling drugs because my mother and father would not, you know. And that's kind of how the childhood went for my youngest years. And a little while after that, my father ended up leaving. My mother remarried, and things started to get better. You know, the guy, he was a hard worker. Regardless of how I see him and as a person, he was a hard worker more than anything. So everything was always paid for, and we always had food and always had a place to stay when he was around. And she started getting better, my mother, and she started taking her medication, and she started getting clean, stopped drinking as well, and stayed like that for a while. But eventually, my oldest brother, he took that opportunity to see that me and my brother were being provided for as a chance to get away from my mother, and he went to the Marines to do that, and just kind of never was willing to move back in while she was there because he knew how that was. He experienced his whole childhood, and he was sick of it. And so after a little while, she just suddenly decides to stop taking her medication, and she starts using again. It was clear that she was. You could just, when you look at someone and you can just see it in their eyes, like that they're not there mentally. There's something there that's not right. It started to show a lot. She started to become physically and mentally abusive in some cases. I was the youngest, so I didn't catch a lot of it. It was usually the oldest, which was my older brother Chris at the time. Like I remember one time she was just walked in the house drunk after disappearing all day, and she slammed his head into the fish tank and started screaming about something about making her a sandwich. It was wild. And my brother, he's never, even when he was younger, he was never the type to sit there and take anything. So of course he fought back. It was manipulated to my adoptive father to look like my brother was just assaulting my mother for absolutely no reason, and it was just, of course, my adoptive father didn't take that well. He's an old school man, so of course he laid hands on Chris. I mean, personally, with that kind of thing, I mean, if you can lay your hands on a woman, you can have hands laid on you too. So that part I respect to an extent.
Yeah, just doing what he could. I can't condone it, but at the same time, like
He was
I
still a
can't act like I don't understand.
yeah, we're still children as well. A belt would have
I
sufficed
know.
for something like that.
It was extreme in all ways and stressful in all ways, and it could have been handled a lot better. To
Yeah,
say very minimal.
absolutely. During this time where she started getting worse, she started saying she was speaking to God, and me being so young, I believed it until she started doing weird things. You could just see it in the way she spoke to people and talked to people, and just the things she said and she did. Like I remember, she used to just have us in the car with her constantly, just driving around during the summer, doing God knows what. One time she just stopped at some random person's house and started screaming that these people were going to pay for what they did. And it made no sense. We didn't know these people. It was just weird. And that continued for like a month or so until she convinced me and my brother that we were moving to Florida and that we already had a place to stay. And us being kids, we were like, yeah, Florida sounds awesome. I want to go to Florida. So we packed up, got in the car, and left my adoptive father there. And we made it to Georgia and sat in a hotel there for a month to 2 months. It was, and during this time, my teeth began to rot out of my mouth, and I was 11 at the time. So eventually, she just ran out of money, and she thought it was a good idea to come back and ask my adoptive father for money, and thought she was just going to disappear with us again. Me and my older brother just, I remember he got us a hotel for one night, and he stayed there with us. She was playing it off all sweet, because she had something to get out of it. And so then we started staying back at the house for one night after that night. And then she suddenly woke us up in the middle of the night and said, "Hey, we're leaving again." And so we stopped at a gas station to get gas. And me and my brother, we just got out of the car. And this was only like 2 minutes down the road. So we knew he would, even if he didn't come get us, we were going to walk back. And he showed up. I don't know how he knew we were there. I think he was just hoping to catch us on the way there somehow. And so we went with him, and we lost all contact with our mother. I really couldn't say how long later it was that we heard that my mother had passed. I mean, everything's kind of blurry, but we got a call that my mother passed, and she was in Florida living in a tent. And at the time, she was completely sober, completely clean. I mean, they did an autopsy. She didn't even have alcohol in her system when she died. And that doesn't leave your body when you die. It just sits and ferments. So she was clean when she passed. So I believe she was getting better, and I thank God for that much. And I mean, we kind of just move on with life, and we keep going to school. And the next year, I get a call that my biological father has been shot in his own doorway. It was something about like an RV that he bought off of these guys who were all obviously shady people, you know, did lots of drugs and hanging out in ghetto neighborhoods. I mean, where he lived. So it was pretty obvious the kind of people they were. And so he put a few thousand into it to get it fixed up and whatnot. And, you know, they live in the same neighborhood. So they're watching him put all this money into this camper. And they show up and demand that back. Of course, he says no, like anyone would. And he's in his boxers at the time, and they shoot him multiple times in his own doorway, and he dies immediately. Eventually, it got ruled self-defense. Nobody was prosecuted with anything, even with him being shot to death in his own doorway. So that's how that happened. And again, I just kind of, I don't process it. I just continue moving on with my life. I just pretend it doesn't bother me, and I move on with my life. So I'm going to school, and it closes down. The school I've been going to for most of my childhood. And so I moved to a new school. And I'm 16 by this point. And I don't know anyone here at all. You know, I'm brand new here. And not even a few weeks in, I start hearing rumors that I supposedly slept with someone. And I don't know this person. And I find out who this person is, and this girl is significantly younger than me. I was 16 at the time. She was 13, I believe. And sister finds out and makes me out to look like some in front of everybody. And at one point, assaults me. And I didn't give the full story on how the assault went, but I was sitting on the bleachers in my 8th period, just waiting for the bell to ring, and I hear somebody yell something from up above me. And I look up, and they slam a Chromebook into my face. And then one of them jams a pencil like down into my neck in between my collarbone and my shoulder blade. And it's lodged in there pretty deep. And so there was definitely some intent in there. Which, I mean, with the knowledge that she was given, with the information she was given, I somewhat get. But that is still somewhat extreme, you know? I mean,
somewhat. That's a polite way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, had her aim been any...
Way too far, but she was a kid too, so I see the impulse there.
Yeah, I mean, had her aim been any better, I could have just simply died, you know? And so I can't do it. I homeschool, you know? So for the next, like, half a year, I'm just isolated, sitting at home with absolutely nothing to do. I mean, just about the only people I saw were my immediate family. Like, maybe sometimes my brothers would come over, or like my aunt or uncle or something, but that was about it. And so it's miserable, you know? Like, I can't live without human interaction. All I've got now, every day that I'm just sitting home for this half year, is my dog, which was my late father's dog. So this dog now holds a lot of sentimental value to me. It somewhat plays into this. Eventually, I'm sick of the way things are going. You know, my stepfather's not really willing to help me out, not even help me get a car or a job or something. It's miserable. And so there was this girl that I used to talk to at some point, and her father offered me a place to stay and a job. And so I start dating this girl, and eventually I move in, and I'm working with them. I'm working for them. And I'm remodeling and refurbishing housing, you know, carpentry, electrical, plumbing, appliances, anything to do with the house. We did it.
Hard work for a kid. Mind you, you're still very young doing work that it's so hard on the body, and you're doing it at, oh my goodness, sorry. I'm still baffled at how you were working such a hard
Yeah.
jobs as well. You're like a multitasker.
Yeah.
You can do it all as a kid. You're still 17. Like, that is absolutely bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, good for you though, but like also you shouldn't have had to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I somewhat already had the experience. I took architecture and construction for 2 years, so that helped me out a little bit. It helped me get the job, and I mean, it's miserable hours. I mean, because we get paid by the job, and we just work until it was done, or as long as we could. I got as much done as possible. So on average, we would work from like 7 in the morning until like 12 to 2 in the morning, and it was, and that was on average. And I mean, a lot of the times we would just sleep in the truck, and just go right back to work at 7 in the morning. So sometimes it was just days before I even got to go home and just shower and change clothes, my underwear and all that, and put on deodorant. It was rough. I didn't like it. And so eventually, my girlfriend's mother, my boss's wife, doesn't like our relationship, and she kicks me out. And now I'm homeless. And I've got nothing but my dog, he's right over here. If you would like to meet him. But I've got nothing but my dog.
Yes, we would love to meet him whenever we can meet him.
Yeah, come here, Scar. Come here. Yeah. This is him.
Oh,
He's awesome. Yeah.
everybody can see
Okay.
the most beautiful puppy.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's about all I've got with me. I've got him, some money, my phone, a charger, and I had like a pair of clothes or two on me. I was trying to pack light because I wouldn't. It wasn't feasible to carry a big load homeless. Eventually, the people I'm staying with now, Steven, I met him through my work. I remodeled 2 of his bathrooms, one of which was a $12,000 contract, and the other $8,000. And so I do some work for him, and he picks me up for this work, and he asks me where I need to go after. He tells me he'll take me. Ultimately, I have to tell him I don't have anywhere to go. So he goes inside and talks to Julie, his wife, and ultimately they decide to give me like a week-long time to decide whether or not I'm a fit for the family. So ultimately, the kids here loved me, and I loved them, and they were all kind of like, can we keep him, Mom and Dad? And so I'm here now. Then they realized that my oral health is not the best at all because of these bad situations, and they start paying out of pocket to get these teeth pulled that I've been in pain for years, which just the 2 back top teeth were $1,500, and that's all that's been done so far. There's still more to do. They won't leave it alone. They absolutely refuse to leave me my teeth like this. They're still paying more out of pocket for that. And so I start going to church with them as well, and it's going good, I mean, at first it was just kind of like, oh, it's just church, and I'm still struggling with my nicotine and alcohol addiction at this point. I ask Julie for help, and she picks up just some Nicorette gum and whatnot, and I toss my vape out, toss out all my cigarettes, and the second I run out, I'm craving it all over again, and I can't drop it. I've got people coming to me in the middle of the night to bring me alcohol, cigarettes, and vapes. I'm still going behind their backs doing this. They don't know. And that kept going for like a solid 3 weeks. I was smoking weed as well. I had a lot of brain fog at the time. I couldn't focus on anything. And I felt like I was just not even conscious for like a solid 3 weeks. Even Stephen and Julie noticed. They wanted to take me to the hospital and get me checked, which they also would have had to pay off because I don't have insurance. So eventually, I'm still going to church with them while going through this, but I'm just not really mentally there. And so one day, Pastor Tim, is speaking, and he starts speaking about how people get so hung up on staying comfortable and in control of their life that they refuse to give their life to God. And that was who I was. I wasn't a good person at the time. I was an addictive, lustful, and deceitful person, and it hit me that I hated the person I had for years, and I wanted more than anything to change. And so he asked anyone who wants to give their life to God to go to the altar. And I do. And I break down. And I asked God to come into my life and to give me the strength to break free of these addictions and just a level head to make the right decisions in my life. And immediately, I don't feel this craving, and I haven't since. And immediately, I've hated the idea of living a sinful life, and I want to grow closer to God more than anything, and I want to help other people do that more than anything right now. And I want to publicly devote my life to God, and that's what I'm doing this Sunday by getting baptized. And I was gonna even speak to somebody about somehow getting more involved in the church. I want to help out there, and I just want to be involved. I love seeing people grow closer with God, and I love seeing the things He's done for people, same as me. And I mean, the people that I'm living with are amazing. Like Steven is outright buying me a car at this point. I mean, of course I'll pay it off over time, but it's still a lot to hand out to somebody. I believe that there's no coincidence that I'm here with the family that I'm with now. To be specific on that, Julie's mother was a widow. They're a blended family. Julie has 3 kids of her own, and Steven has 1. Jenny and Jace were the oldest siblings. Jenny watched her father die when she was 7, and I've been through something very similar, and I now have resources that I can give to them in their life that can help them get through that, and I want to do that. I want to see these kids grow closer to God, and I want to see these kids healed, because I see that it still affects them long term, the same way it has me. I still haven't fully processed anything, and the same for me. I feel like that's why I'm here. I'm here for them to help me heal from that, and to help them heal from that as well.
Yeah. It'll make me cry. I had to turn off my camera and everything. His soppy works up here. I'm sorry. So, where did you start in the Bible? You got in your word, I would assume. Did you start at the beginning like everybody else?
There had been small points in my life where I had read a few times, but I didn't have that faith,
Yeah, it didn't stick.
Yeah, nothing ever stuck with me, really.
I understand. Do you have a favorite verse that stuck to you recently?
I do have a verse that has stuck with me my whole life, and I couldn't tell you what that verse is, where to find it, but
that's okay.
And I can't even quote it exactly, so do not quote me on anything I say, but it describes that before you are placed in the womb, God allows you to look through your entire life and decide whether or not you want to live that life. And with that being said, seeing that I'm here, I've decided to live this life, and that means there's something here for me. That's kind of how I see it.
You've gone to church a couple of times, and it didn't quite penetrate. What was it that did it for you?
I mean, there wasn't anything that I necessarily heard someone say, or anything anyone said to me at all. It was, even when I was placed in the situation with an amazing family, there was still something empty, and I was still living a sinful life, and I hated the person I was for it, And in that time, he stripped me down to nothing mentally, and I had nothing left. But the only option I had left was to give it to God. I didn't know what else to do. Well, if that failed, I was giving up, And I'm not the kind of person to do something and not do it fully. So I put all my faith in it, And the second I did, it was gone. Everything was just, I can't even really explain it. that hole was filled. The cravings were gone. The hate in my heart, it was gone. And all I wanted was to love, you know?
Make me cry again. Stop it. You're getting baptized, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't forget to fill your house with the word. I know
Yeah.
reading sucks, but you will be empty. You will be cleaned out, not in a bad way, in a beautiful way.
Yeah,
Everything
absolutely.
will be washed away. If you don't make sure that the house is full of the Holy Spirit, other spirits will walk in and have a slumber party.
Yeah,
The best thing you can do is fill your house with scripture. Come hang out with me and Rich. Obviously, I'm going to tell you that. Fill your house. This is your house. Think of it as your house.
yeah,
You don't want squatters. That's not awesome. You have to make a lot of repairs, and it's really hard to get them to leave. So,
yeah,
fill your house with God. Of course, you can always contact other ministry people for you as well as everybody online. Contact ministry people. You are always welcome. If you don't want to talk to a pastor, send somebody that you do trust that does know the Lord and does have fruits a text message and say, hey, I'm lost. And don't feel the shame. There's no shame in this game. We are all brothers and sisters in Christ. We're all chilling.
As difficult as it is for me to even find the words sometimes, I don't see myself hesitating to share what God's done for me the same way He didn't hesitate to love me and to bring me out of these situations, you know?
Oh, you're just so young, and I don't think you can grasp the idea quite yet because you're you and you're living it and you're like, well, duh, of course I'm this age. But I feel like you are going to go so far. You are young. You have found God. You're giving your life to the right person, I will say. Trusting in Jesus at such a young age and having a real testimony. Not that I kind of know Jesus. Like, you actually are building a relationship that is beautiful and strong, and you can see the works and you can see everything that is happening around you. Sorry. And it's just so, I can't believe how far you've come. And that's not an insult. That is the biggest. I can't believe it. Like, you are a prodigy of your story. Like, you hear these stories about people living in awful conditions and going through awful things, and you hear how that person's in jail now, or that person's struggling in the worst ways, or that person doesn't trust in God because God's failed them. And you hear all these things all the time, but it's so rare for somebody to go straight to God and say, hey, listen, everything you have going on, figure it out for me. I am letting it go. You can take it. You can take my life. And I don't know how else, like, I'm sure everybody who watches this is going to be as God-founded as I was. Seriously.
A lot about what you said, I can't agree with, because it's not me, you know? None of this is. This is all.
You're so. How are you? It took everybody years to get where you are, and to know that you're here where you are. You're gonna keep going, and the fact that you're where you're at now and you're supposed to keep going after you said the most beautiful thing. I have it up here on the screen. You said it is a uphill battle.
Yeah.
Constantly, the whole thing, it has constantly been uphill, and the fact that you can take your story and not dwell on the bad is like, thank goodness, Landon. Like, maybe I'm just a mom, but I can't imagine a baby coming up to me and saying, hey, and here's my testimony. Because we think testimonies, we think, oh, that old guy, that old guy sitting over there, or somebody in their 20s that literally was wild. Nobody thinks of our youth in the same way, because everybody just has this picture of they're just so perfect. They don't have nothing to worry about. Like, that's not true. I hope that you open so many people's eyes, and I'm serious. I know I'm rambling. Yeah. I'm crazy. I'm sorry. But I think that your story, it matters so much. in the grand scheme of everybody's lives, not just yours. I love your story, and I hope it keeps going up. And the moment it's going down, you can call me. I will be there.
Yeah.
I will adopt you as well. And everybody around you will adopt you as well. Like, I love who you are. How can you be so positive? How can you, oh my goodness, how can you be this person that is just pure light and joy?
This level of understanding, and
You won't find it without somebody who's been touched by the Spirit,
yeah,
I
exactly.
think is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So sorry.
You're completely fine.
This stuff gets me going, man. Testimonies are my thing. It's so important. And it makes me cry every time.
I have faith that I'm put here for a good reason. I think I have an idea of what that reason is. I want to be a bouncer. I told you about a good friend recently. His name was Jaden. His brother's not in the best place, and he's struggling. And the other night, I sat in my closet and I talked to God about him. And I read, and I didn't hear anything immediately. I had faith that God put his name on my heart for a good reason. And so I kept praying. I kept talking to God. And the next day, which was the other day after I was already off the phone with you, I heard it. I heard it again. It said, go talk to Jaden. And so I text Jaden. I tell him, like, hey man, how are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm okay, I guess. And I'm like, well, I just wanted to let you know I love you. And I want to be there for you. I see that you're struggling, and I want to show up for you. God sees your struggle, and God loves you. God wants to build a relationship with you. And keep in mind, this guy's agnostic. And so we're supposed to be on out tomorrow and hanging out, And, it's a big group get together. It's a little party. This guy's going to be there drinking. A few other people are. But I'm not. I don't want to do that. But I asked him if I could have a talk with him before he starts. And he asked me what about. And I told him that I just want to kind of talk to him about how things are going with him, and just pray for him if he'll let me, as well as his brother. It's okay if he doesn't want to pray with me because he's agnostic, and I get that. I'm not going to push anything on him. And he was like, man, I don't really know about that. So I just simply just started talking about what God's done for me, and I give him, we're on the phone for like an hour, 2 hours at this point, and I give him this full testimony that I've just given you. He told me that he'd be willing to pray with me, as well as he wants to try going to church with me this Sunday.
You get me sappy again. My goodness. My Shayla! I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep it okay, so I'm not like boo-hoo-hooing on here.
I about slipped up one time, but I held it in.
You have a gift, and you will find it. Little gifts. They're little things that will help you guide people and help you save people. You will save souls. You have to listen up here and let go of up here. And I think you are already on your way to perfectly being able to get into it. We always say, that person was great, but they did this, but. The beautiful thing is the fact that God doesn't say but. He says, you are Landon, and I love you.
Yeah.
And he is a soul that I saved. He is sober, of course. We all fall.
Yeah, absolutely.
But is a human word, is what I'm saying. But is the thing that we hold on to try and categorize the doubt. And God has no doubt for you. And you have a gift that you will spread everywhere if you keep the buts out of your mind. This is just my message to you. I could care less about the live at this point. You have so many things in your story, and sometimes it takes a story to soften a heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do I close out without crying? You're gonna go far, and anybody who has the pleasure of meeting you, I pray that you give them the ability to hear the word and have them see the word. You are the walking gift and miracle. Your heart is so beautiful, and every part of you is positive. From what I can see, you're just so well shapen and molded, and you are ready to go on in your ministry already. Like, that is, you're 17. That is like the biggest accomplishment I think I've seen in a very, very long time, because you hear people stray away so many times, and I don't see that for you.
I do fully expect to fall short at plenty of times in my life, but I do not see myself ever straying away, and I don't plan to.
I don't see it either.
I mean, I fell short today. I acted out of anger today. I mean, it wasn't even like a massive deal, but I acted out of anger.
Well,
It's
that's
not.
that conviction getting you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have it now.
And I felt horrible about it.
I'm telling you, man.
I mean, I immediately prayed and asked God to take that anger out of my heart. I don't want
Oh
to
man.
be an angry or a sinful person. I want to be as loving as I possibly can. I strive to love like Jesus did.
One more time. I think someone needs to hear that one more time.
I strive to love like Jesus did.
Man, I thought I was stronger than this. I am sappy. Never forget what you just said. Ever. That'll get you through everything you need to get through in life. And then some. And then some for someone else as well. I thank every single person that had the patience to sit here today and gain a little bit of grace. Man, I gotta go eat pizza and cry.
Thank you so much. This means a lot. It really does.
It means a lot to me. Everybody says it means a lot to them. It's all for the kingdom. I think that's just so important to talk about it.
Always
It's
good to
a
get
pleasure having you. And I'm not being extra when I say that. It is genuinely the best thing. You've made my entire night just being here.
I'm glad. I'm really glad that.
Okay, I'm gonna close out harsh. I love everybody. I'm gonna cry if I don't. Have a good night, Landon, and you can get in touch with me whenever you want. Shoot, man. Bye. Bye. That is the sweetest kid I've ever met. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Of course, like, subscribe, share this, get this out to as many people as you feel like getting it out to. I'm not pushing you or anything. I'm just happy you made it to the end. Yeah, wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. I love that kid. I can't believe. Wow. That's all. Wow. I just got done editing. It's been 3 hours. I'm still wow. Anyway, thank you. Have a good night. I'll see you in the next one. Tell me who you want to hear next. Bye. Thank you. Bye.